Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ask Adam Live. Ask is the acronym for Always Seek Knowledge, and our show is always live on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Central Time. Welcome to the new year. I have a little bit of a sinus thing going on, so lots of natural homeopathic remedies at work, and we're going to power through this thing, and we're going to do it with already a whole lot of success. Welcome to the new year. I'm sure you've started to make a few, well, what do they call those? Resolutions? Basically, ideas in our mind of something that we want to do to, well, make ourselves better. Maybe there's some goals that we have in life that we want to achieve, and so we put them out there sort of as that proverbial carrot on a stick, keeping us aligned or maybe engaged a little bit differently with life that, well, we might just, accomplish something. I'm not really sure that's the best direction to go to. I think you have to have purpose and motion and set that up into basically a 90-day time frame. I think once you do this, you're not stretching it out to say, oh, I have the entire year to accomplish something. No, you're going to get right to it. Because quite frankly, if this is something you want to do, you should already be doing it by now. But, you discover new things, right? And so we want to engage in those new things. We want to practice a new habit. So by engaging and giving ourselves that deadline, that already sort of puts the urgency in getting something done. And not saying that it has to be rushed. It may take 120 days. But if you don't start today knowing that there's a deadline near, well, the likelihood of you starting at all is probably not as possible as you think. See, you don't need more time. You just need more alignment. So let's get started with this week's episode of Purpose in Motion, your 90-day reset. Welcome. See, momentum doesn't come from movement. It comes from moving in the right direction. And that's what a 90-day reset is for. Keep in mind that if you happen to stumble upon this episode and it's not the first of the year, don't beat yourself up. This 90-day can be applied any time of the year. Hey, you pick a day on the calendar and start counting to 90. It's just that simple. I will share with you that one of the two things that I observe most is the winter solstice, which is the coming of light. And I also appreciate June, which is the maximum amount of light. Not to say that I reset and start goals in June, but it's kind of a check-in time to ensure that, well, I'm on track with what I started back when the light was becoming. And that what I decided to do is now in motion, is now a habitual habit in my life or a pattern, or maybe it's something that had to get adjusted several times. And I write down those notes as well. Because one of the things you'll find is by keeping track of things is also going to add to your accountability. See, whether it's a new year, a new season, or just a moment when you know things feel off, the 90-day reset is your opportunity to realign with purpose and reset your peace with clarity. As I mentioned, I use the 90-day sprint to kind of reclaim my focus. For instance, even take with the episodes here. How are they going? Are they going well? Does something need to be adjusted? Have I been adjusting something just because it doesn't feel right? And then I make those notations to see that, well, at that point, I've now created something that's working, and I just keep doing it. I keep doing it with a little bit more emphasis or a little bit more direction on something. Maybe I can tell you, I think it was last year that I started leaning away from the 45 minutes and closer to half-hour bites. You might have noticed that if you're a frequent listener, and you were like, hey, wait a minute, that seems kind of short. It's experimenting. Remember, that was first season. By the way, we're in season 2 now. And so I feel that there's probably a little bit more to explain, and I'm not going to shortchange you. But see how that was a little bit of an experiment, whether you noticed it or not. It was something that I was doing to, well, what I call check and adjust. Check how things are going and make the appropriate adjustments. Sometimes nothing is needed at all. What I can promise you today is in this episode, you'll get a step-by-step framework to refocus your energy, set your alignment goals, and activate your micro wins. That keeps your purpose, well, in motion. The small wins. Why 90 days works. Let's jump into part 1. 90 days is long enough to start to see results. It's also short enough to keep you focused. Like I said, you stretch something out for the entire year. Honestly, when's the next time you think about it? October? And then you're trying to cram the last 90 days of the year to get this thing in, or maybe you realize 60 days before the end of the year, you got to make up 90. Goals in our lives and things that we're trying to do to improve ourselves, to adjust ourselves, to find whatever that is, it shouldn't be under duress. It shouldn't be under pressure. Look at it this way. If you start today with your 90 day at the beginning of the year, I actually started back December 21st, but to each their own. Again, just a suggestion. You start your 90 days and things aren't going so well and you can make adjustments, guess what? You actually have 3 more 90-day increments through the remainder of the year to make those adjustments and, well, start over. If you're one of those people that feel like you didn't succeed and you want to start over from scratch, well, so be it. There's 3 other opportunities available for you, thanks to the 365-day year. However, within 90 days, you can discover something. Then you spend the next 90 days really honing in on what you enjoy about your new goal and the pleasures that you find and the pats on the back for the small wins that you've experienced already. And, well, let's not beat ourselves up on the small failures, but at least for failure's sake, can we acknowledge that they're there and make the appropriate adjustments? See, the 90-day also works because it helps break down these big goals into, well, doable actions. I mean, if you have the entire year to really work on something, it can feel overwhelming. This creates built-in momentum and, well, kind of that sense of urgency where you want to get this done in 90 days. You want to, well, as many people would say in the engineering world, you want to go through the trial phase. You want to see what's working and not working. And then worst case scenario, you start your 90 days at day 91. But at least you know where you stand. And remember the old adage that many philosophers have always stated, many of them. You're not starting from zero, you're starting from a learned point. So don't beat yourself up. You got this. Part 2, the 90-day reset framework. I like to frame this up, and you know I love acronyms, with the word PACE, P-A-C-E. P is your purpose anchor. What matters most? Now, what's your why for this quarter? Again, what's your purpose anchor? Let's go to the most common, just because it's easy. Many people say they want to lose weight or just be healthier in the next year, right? So what's your purpose anchor? To feel better, live longer, fit into those fashionable clothes? Great. So now you know what matters. And once you've defined your why, just put that up on a small cart, maybe by the fridge, in the kitchen, Maybe on the mirror where you get ready each morning, somewhere where you commonly see your why. Maybe it's just simply, I want to look better. This will start to resonate in your mind as you see this each day, aligning with your purpose anchor. Why are you doing something? Maybe some business goals. You want more sales. What's the measurement of more sales? Is it 20 sales a month versus the average of 10? Simply write down 20 sales a month and keep it, like I said, in a common location where you're going to see it. And this reminds you of why, or at least your anchor. Maybe you want to make a notation of a vacation, time away from work, something you want to do with your family. Write that at the bottom. This is your why, right? Your purpose anchor is what it is and why. Hey, if I get 20 sales a month, I can build up that level of income that will allow me to take the entire family to some exotic location that probably is expensive with airfare and whatnot. You can do that for everyone. Everyone gets to participate. That's your why. Spend more time with family somewhere and see that again in a visual place. And this will remind you each time that you're confronted with that next sale, that next opportunity. And it allows you to begin to be creative as well. How can you obtain that next sale? What actions can you be doing when things get tough? You know, it's when you see this every day, it starts to sort of put that picture in your mind that you're going to remember each time. So when you're having that bad day at the office and you just don't want to make that one more call to a client, or you just don't want to make another appointment, and you remember, I need to make 20 sales this month. And a little bit of work now is going to pay off later. And it's for my family. So I really need to do something. See, once you kind of see that and it becomes ingrained, well, now you have your purpose and your why. And you can apply this to anything. It's not just losing weight or having more sales, whatever it is. Maybe you want to obtain more friends in your life. How many friends would you like? 5, 10, 15? What's that number that you can work with, that you feel comfortable with? And again, you may find 15 friends is a lot to manage, and you're going to dial that back and say, okay, where are my true friends? Now that I have 15 and I'm feeling overwhelmed, who can I kind of set back? Who are the ones that I'm feeling most connected to and important? And again, don't feel bad. It's not usury to say, hey, we're just not good friends. This is all part of the life learning experience. And if you say, hey, you're a good friend, but kind of busy right now, they're going to understand. And if they fade away, hey, it's a win-win. If they continue to engage, you might start to understand that that's one of your top 5 that you were trying to push away that's actually good for you. But again, I can only stress that you should ruminate very deep when connecting with people to ensure that they are there for your best interest, not their own. Yes, we all have great intentions, but there's some friends that you feel are beneficial to you that are actually harming you, and you need to be dialed in to understanding that, seeing that, and just, being an active participant in life and just, hey, paying attention. Didn't mean to get off on a tangent, so let's move on to A, aligned goals. Choose 1 to 3 goals that reflect your purpose. Write them down, make them clear, compelling, and measurable. Remember, what we write, we invite. But 1 to 3 goals that reflect your purpose. What is it that your purpose anchor is, and what are the 1 to 3 goals that kind of surround that purpose anchor? This helps to align goals, which is the A in PACE. You also want to make them clear. Don't make them too wordy, and also make them compelling, something you read and you say, yes, that's something I would like to do. And remember to keep them measurable. And I know you're out there and you're feeling like I don't want to cut myself short. But I talked to my financial advisor before the end of the year just to see how things were aligned. And you know what I was reminded of? Small, measurable goals are important. Something profound they said, which I'm going to repeat here and hopefully sound just as smart as they are, is those little things that which we do throughout the year and towards the end of the year to build this thing called savings, to build this thing called investment, eventually pay off in time. But it's continuously making those measurable actions that turn out to be something amazingly great once done after a period of time. I hope that sounds as smart as they said it, but you know what I'm saying? It's okay if they're measurable. It's okay if they're, well, kind of just there. It's the consistency of doing that part, doing that thing, that creates, well, the bigger win. All right, now it's time for C, the big C, everyone. Commitment moves. I think this is where I might lose you, but it's like I was stating earlier. What small, daily, even weekly habits will support each goal? Remember, it's these small actions that become part of the greater thing. So as you're eating healthy, for instance, and you're opting for a health shake or just some fruits and vegetables, maybe leaning down and not eating a whole package of something, but just having a small, tasteful bite of something that's actually full of lots of nutrition is probably better than just mindlessly eating an entire box or bag of a sweet or salty treat that at the end of the day really isn't good for you. So these small daily habits that are going to support your goal. And remember, write these down as well, because what we do it right, we invite. Part of our commitment moves is also to think. Think of micro wins, because this propels us forward to momentum, and momentum puts us forward to mastery. So those micro wins, while you're eating healthy, don't go on the scale every day. Do yourself a favor. What I found with regards to weight loss is when I felt like a day that I was small, I was thin, I was empty, I got on the scale. And I looked and was surprised to see I'd lost 5 pounds. I congratulated myself and said, good work, keep going, you're doing great. If you get on the scale every day, you're going to be disappointed because there's highs and lows, there's inflammation, there's muscle build, there's weight loss, there's this, there's that. If you're doing all of these things, you're going to see it just go up and down like the stock market. And you possibly could get slightly disappointed because you're not seeing the true effects. But as you're dialing into how you feel and you truly are following each one of your steps towards momentum and mastery, you're going to have that day where you're dialed in and you're like, wow, I just feel small. I feel thin. What is it about me? Why my stomach's flat? What's going on? Get on the scale and see your win. When you're feeling tired and bloated and maybe uncomfortable and you're hoping getting on the scale is going to produce this magic number that's going to help you feel better, I can tell you it's not. And you want to find out where your low point is, because guess what? In like 2 or 3 days, you're going to gain 1 or 2 pounds, but then you're going to lose 5 or 6. So it's stay with your activities, stay with your goals and regimented movement to mastery. And when you're feeling small, tiny, maybe you've detoxed one day, get on the scale and see the progress that you're truly making. It's not your imagination. Let's move on to E, our energy checkpoints. Schedule time to check in weekly. Like I said, then find yourself maybe weekly getting on the scale just to see how you're doing. These are also great little micro times to see what's working and what needs adjusting. you'll find that maybe nothing needs adjusting at all and that you're doing a great job. So I want you to stand there and put that hand over your shoulder, pat yourself on the back, and congratulate yourself that you're doing a good job and that you're staying the course. You're doing what you promised you would do for yourself, for your why. And if not, well, let me just caveat this to say, don't beat yourself up. What needs adjusting? Did you maybe have a couple of snacks? Are you finding yourself that you're eating closer to bedtime than you shouldn't? Oftentimes, fasting is the longer part of not eating, allows your body to break everything down. And like I said, get yourself empty where you do feel small. Get on the scale then. Don't find yourself eating and sitting. Find yourself eating and moving. Again, even the healthiest food, if you're just sitting there, well, it's going to turn to sugar and do what it's not supposed to do. So keep in mind, when we're doing things, can also be something that, well, might need adjustment. Part 3 is the reset ritual. Have you set your 90-day window? Great. Now block time for your 3 Power 3 priorities each week. Each week, what are the 3 activities that you are doing that are most effective to you reaching your goal? And focus on these. Remember, small adjustments, like you're eating healthy, pay attention to when you're eating. Is it the time of day that you're eating? Do you get up right away and start eating? Or do you wait and give it some time before you consume some food? Let your body kind of wake up and adjust. Because if you're just getting up and eating breakfast right away, your body's not awake. Honestly, it takes 1 to 2 hours for all the chemicals to stimulate and get you going. So maybe something like a glass of water, maybe even salt water, just something to sort of adjust that craving, fill the void and allow your body to get started. And then find that once your body's fired up and the furnace is burning and then you consume something, you actually feel better because it's getting dissolved and you don't feel tired, bloated, and bogged down. I know I'm focused a little bit on diet and food, but that seems to be the number one thing these days. But it's the same thing as I mentioned with business. Make several phone calls. Discover what's working and what's not working with regards to sales. What are your 3 power moves? Is it making 5 appointments, at least 5 a week? If you're working 5 days and you're having 2 days off, which if you're really after a goal, you're probably working 8 days a week. But I'm not here to tell you what to do. Nonetheless, at least work on 5 appointments a week. Maybe it's 5 appointments a day, 5 days a week. Well, there's your 20, and you've already done it in a week. So you've already superseded your 90-day goal with trying to get them in a month. What is it that's working and what's not? Are you utilizing some tools? Are you networking? Are you reaching out to people that you already have worked with to get that referral? Those are kind of some of those easy wins, what I call low-hanging fruit. Some of these options will help improve your sales, most definitely. And as you've accumulated that sales in a shorter period of time, well, pat yourself on the back, congratulate yourself, and know that, well, you've created a little bit of gap to try experimenting some neat, new, and different things that might help improve those sales. Maybe it's the follow-up. Again, if you're finding that your referral business is working so well, think of new and innovative ways to reach out to your clientele, even on a broader scale, to get more and more of their attention, not necessarily the most recent ones, but I'm talking all of them. Even set up a program where it reminds them who you are and what you do. Again, I believe it's a high 80% of businesses come from referrals as far as sales. So start, as you get that win and you create that, or you relieve the pressure is probably a better way to say it, by creating that gap and you get what you want, don't rest on what it is. Start to hone in on what's working and kind of double down on that and make that most effective. I know we've only touched on two things, which was eating healthy, losing weight, and sales. But you can apply this to any one of them. You know your business. You know your business more than I do. So focus in on what it is you do. Remember your why and anchor that in place. Let's recap. Purpose in motion is about clarity plus consistency. Remember to use PACE, purpose, aligned goals, committed moves, and energy checkpoints. Don't wait for the perfect reset now. I invite you to download the 90-day Purpose Reset Planner to find your purpose anchor and at least set one goal this week. Tag at Ask Adam Live with the hashtag Purpose in Motion and share your plan. Alignment over hustle, direction over speed. Let this 90-day reset put your purpose back in motion. Now let us all go out and make it a great day.